Guys, we have known for a while that the Cavaliers needed to make a move, and boy, did GM David Griffin pull it off with this impending trade for Kyle Korver. It's hard to overstate what a good fit this is. Take a look at Korver's shot chart. That is a lot of red, fire-hot red, and it's only going to get redder. Yeah, that's a word. I made it a word. With a passer like LeBron setting him up. Think Ray Allen in Miami, except a little younger, really. So think of what would have happened if the Heat and LeBron had gotten the Boston version of Ray Allen. Yeah, Korver is also an excellent passer himself, a decent off-ball defender, knows how to set a screen, and at 35 years old, he has the maturity to fall seamlessly in with a team that is hell-bent on pursuing another championship. If the NBA really has become an arms race between the Warriors and the Cavaliers, this is Cleveland's answer to the Super Death lineup. LeBron taking the floor with Kyrie, Kevin Love, Channing Frye, and now Korver. All four of those guys are shooting around 40% from three or better. In fact, there is no one in the NBA who has been better at shooting threes over the past 5 seasons than Korver. Not just no one on the Warriors, no one, period. And here's what should really scare the NBA. The Cavs aren't even likely done. This morning at Shoot-Around, LeBron made it clear he's pushing David Griffin to dive even deeper into the trade market to find a better backup for Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, we still got a couple more things we need to do.
He said, that's the last time I'll say it. We need a point guard. Now, back at the start of the NBA season, Vegas had Cleveland as 3-1 odds to repeat as champions. As of this morning, those odds are down to 7-4. Of course, if you look, Golden State still higher on that tote board. And until that changes, well, look out. The Cavs are on the move. So, guys, it's obvious this gives some separation between Cleveland and the rest of the East. But, Tracy, when you look at the even bigger picture of where they are in the conference, how big a move is this for the Cavs?
I like this move, considering that he's playing with LeBron James. I thought him in the playoffs with Atlanta, he didn't get a lot of wide open looks, so he struggled in the playoffs with those guys. But having him playing with LeBron James would have him have so many open shots. Decent on the defensive end. I remember, he was with Utah and he tried to guard me a couple times and I had to, dunk on him. But long time ago. Oh my God. Long time ago. But no, I really like this move for these guys. Yes.
The thing is that we could show Tracy highlights against anyone in the league.
Very smart basketball player, can shoot the hell out of the ball, and he is a great passer. So I think this is a great move that, it's going to be good.
Do we need to see that dunk like 4 times from every angle possible?
Yes, we do.
I try to hang on to some of the things I've done in my career.
It is absurd how much shooting they have about LeBron. And you're like, the thing about Kyle in Atlanta, he had to like run around all over the floor and get screens. And all you have to do is stand there and LeBron's going to pass you the ball and he's going to shoot.
And he's going to be open.
If you told me right now he shoots 50% on threes in Cleveland, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, Ty Lue said this morning at Shoot-Around, he's going to have butt-naked threes.
I like
that. I thought he meant buck naked, but who knows? Either way, maybe he's also butt naked, like our friend there taking his pants down. Either way, he will be open and be able to be taken.
Well, and I like the timing for Cleveland because they need bodies right now. They're running out of bodies, and like they don't need to play LeBron 39, 40 minutes a game right now.
No, this is a huge deal, and of course they could end up getting that backup point guard. Although they're talking about maybe, the rumor mill right now has them bringing in some old faces that have been around LeBron in the past, like Chalmers. I don't know how I feel about that move. Would that make you happy?
I love that move.
Really?
Absolutely. If he could get in game, if he gets in,
that's what worries me.
Get in game shape. It'd be phenomenal.
Injury recovery. What do you think?
If he's healthy, if he's 80%, 90% of what he was before the Achilles tear, why not? He fits. LeBron knows him. He knows how to play off LeBron. But look, this is the backup point guard market. It's not none of these names are going to excite you.
Rondo.
Right. No, that makes sense. It's been a long layoff for him. So I guess we'll have to see how it does. Let's also talk about the next domino here. The Hawks, now that they've sent Korver to the team they were supposedly chasing in the East. That couldn't say rebuild more loudly, guys, right? If they put lights above the door. So the next question is, what happens to All-Star forward Paul Millsap? Ramona Shelburne reporting interested teams are being told he'd want around $35 million per year for 4 years once he becomes a free agent this summer. So that may limit who wants to deal for him now. Zach, where do you see Millsap?
Hold on, 35
per year.
Per year. 35 per year. Yeah, you just retired. I don't know why you're like.
Remember all those dunks we showed earlier? You might want to get back into that.
Eating paper is not going to turn back time, my friend. Look, but that's a real thing. Like if you're trading for him and you're giving up real stuff, you got to decide: can we pay him? Do we want to pay him? And is he actually going to stay? Because I'm not going to give up something for a rental. I think we're all rooting for Toronto, right? Like the Atlanta should just subsidize the Eastern Conference Finals. Just here you go, everyone just load up. But then you got to decide: do we want to pay Kyle Lowry $30 to $35 million, Paul Millsap $30 to $35, and DeRozan? That's $100 million for 3 guys going forward. That's hard to build a team.
I didn't realize he wanted that much money.
That's his max.
I don't think Toronto can afford him. That being said, I would love to see him in Milwaukee. Toronto is the ideal place because them reaching the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and I think they will probably get back this year.
That's their need. We started the week talking about
They're
this.
Their weak at the 3 and 4 position.
They started the dude to pull his pants down at power forward last night. Bebe is not ready for this.
He will look good in a Milwaukee Bucks uniform, playing with Giannis. I said that right again. Playing with Giannis, adding to what they already have, that young group of talent that they have, him being, a guy that can spread the floor, add some shooting to them, some defense effort to what they have, and I would like to see him with the Bucks to add veteran leadership with that group.
We've heard the Nuggets.
I'll tell you, the Nuggets almost traded for him. Almost traded for him in July.
Don't do it.
When the Hawks were trying to get off him then and bring Horford back. I think Washington's looking around. They're desperate to make the playoffs. I think New Orleans is looking at him. Like, does he work with Anthony Davis? Can we make salary work? There's a bunch of teams. Sacramento's all hell-bent. Let's get in the playoffs and get swept. Let's do it.
I believe that's the motto. Let's get in the playoffs and get swept. They're going to make T-shirts. Why don't you think the Nuggets shouldn't get near him?
What? Do you see that dysfunctional group up? I mean, coach calling them out. They're not playing defense.
But that's the thing.
Your coach called you out for not playing defense. You come back the next night and give up 127 points.
But isn't that why at some point, don't you have to get serious? Like, the Nuggets have been this, like, oh, they're young, they're interesting, they win 33 games every year, they have all these trade chips. At some point, don't you have to do something?
You have to do something, but as a player, I'm not doing it for him. I'm not helping him.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Will he stay there?
Will he stay there? Right. No. I mean, Toronto, to me, is still the most interesting, and I do think you pay all those guys if you can work out the numbers. It's
going to cost you a Valanciunas or a Carroll and pieces of your depth.
I'm okay with it costing you Valanciunas.
You get an all-star. You get another all-star.
And look, this is your window if you're Toronto. This backcourt is not going to be around forever, and if all franchises know that you don't get this lucky for this long, I mean, look, they went 20 years with only one playoff win, right?
I agree with that. They should be all in right now. Like, everyone's like, they'll still be an underdog if they get Millsap, but you know what? So what? The whole point of being in the NBA is to try to win when you have a chance.
And as we saw with the Warriors, someone gets injured for part of the playoffs, and you never know what can happen. So Toronto, make a move. We want to see it.
T-Dot.
Comes to Hart. Hart. Was blocked. Or was there a foul with 7/10 of a second remaining? It's a foul call. The foul is on Jeremy Grant, and the Ney will go to the line. Wow.
So that was a foul that basically decided what was a fun basketball game last night. Nene hit his free throws. That was that. Tracy,
it was terrible.
Not so excited about that, right?
No, not at all.
Didn't like it.
Yeah.
Didn't like it.
Why? That's so egregious. You got to let everything go at that point in the game, right?
Absolutely.
Everything.
Absolutely.
I said if it's not egregious.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I don't even know that there's a foul that's not egregious there. I don't know that there's anything there. I mean, that's the ball.
That's
the ball.
Clean. He hits the ball first before body contact. That's clean.
Billy Donovan feels as you do, right?
I like that smirk from Billy.
Pretty good. Bigger story, of course, from that game was the show that Westbrook and Harden put on. And Russ had 49-8-5. Harden had 26-8-12. At the end of the game, the two former Thunder teammates embraced on court. It was very sweet. They whispered in each other's ear. Oh, look at that. Afterward, they made it Instagram official, guys.
Aww.
So sweet. Tracy, who impressed you? This, by the way, this is not what happened when Russell Westbrook went to play Kevin Durant up in Golden State. I just want to point that out. Who impressed you more?
Well, if I guess, if we're going to put more impressive, I'm going to go with Westbrook.
Okay.
Reason being is because he's coming off a back-to-back, and coming off a back-to-back, your legs are tired, and you're going up against, a guy that's considered in the MVP race along with yourself. So there's anticipation and expectations on this game. And he performed well. He had a career high in shooting the ball from beyond the arc and ended up with 49 points. Lost the game. There's some things he could have done better that I would like to see him do.
Decision-making or?
Decision-making at the end of the game. So right here, first of all, coach put him in a bad position, and having James Harden is the guy that's guarding the guy off the ball. So they're just going to switch that right there. I don't like this, taking this type of shot over James Harden. Drive the ball so it gives your team an opportunity to get an offensive rebound. You got a great offensive rebounder in Cantrell out on the basketball court. It's just a bad
They are at the line where they're just too predictable in crunch time.
Yes.
So last 3 minutes of the game, score within 3 points. Westbrook has taken 90 shots this year.
Nobody else has touched the ball.
Next guy in the NBA, Anthony Davis, 45.
That's
and then everyone's in the 30s to 20s. The next guy on Oklahoma City is Oladipo, 15. 90 to 15. Like, you might want to diversify a little bit.
His usage rate is higher than everybody else. He's, what, 45?
He's on pace to set the record.
But the predictability, I mean, that's been the knock on the Thunder for so long that it's now the theory of why Kevin Durant left, correct?
Yeah, and by the way, he was more impressive last night. Anytime a 30% three-point shooter goes 8 of 15, you give him the nod.
Yeah, but this is where coaching has to come in, because you have to sit with Russ, do film time with this guy,
right,
and have him understand, for you to be a better player and for us to be a better team, this is what you have to do. James Harden, MVP candidate right now. Yeah. You see what he did? He didn't take the last shot. He made the right play to Nene, got to the free throw line. Those are things that you have to do. Those are winning plays.
Remember everyone killed LeBron for making the pass in crunch time?
Yeah.
Now it's like James Harden made the pass. Good for him.
Right,
That's why we all killed LeBron for that.
That is the story of LeBron's career, right? And I mean, look, James Harden certainly likes to pass just a little more than Russell Westbrook. Just a little bit more. Look, when you look at all the former teammates, right? KD, as mentioned, Russell Westbrook, James Harden. These three are on pace to be 3/5 of the first All-NBA first team this year. And, of course, we remember when they were on a real team together. 5 years ago, they led the Thunder to the finals, but fell short to the Heat. And then, of course, OKC shipped Harden out. Durant has also bolted. Zach, how much do you think the Thunder regrets breaking up this big three?
I think if you put them up, well, they certainly regret Durant leaving. They didn't want that to happen. They proactively traded Harden, and they defend that decision to a hilt. You know, he wanted to leave. He wanted to see what he could do as a franchise player. He was going to sort of burst at the seams being here. I just think they did it maybe a year ahead of time. I would have liked to see them roll it out one more time and what they could do, because clearly the team worked. I mean, they made the finals.
I understand James Harden wanting to leave to have his own team. I mean, I was in that position when I left Toronto. Hindsight, looking back, I wish I had stayed, because we would have had a great team. I was coming into my own. Same with James Harden. With KD and Russ, the way these guys have panned out, the type of players, these three, you're looking at a dynasty with these guys, seriously. But, you know, we're looking back, and I didn't expect James Harden to be this good. I really didn't. He's a hell of a player, and we're talking about him being the MVP this year, and Russ is doing his thing. So, yeah, I'm sure there's some regret.
Well, I think that what you just hit is a real issue both for the Thunder and for other teams that could have gotten into the Harden trade talks. Right. I don't think that many teams thought he was ever going to be this good, including the Thunder. I
knew he was good, but not this good.
And you want to think that a good organization, and the Thunder are clearly a good organization, could, even if he wanted to leave and have his own team, could have said to him, let's work this out. Let's figure out a way to feature you more. Let's move the pieces around differently.
For that to work, you would have had to, looking at how he's playing out, you would have had to put him at the point guard and move Russ off the ball. Well, you can't keep that guy coming out.
I was going to say, that's a real thing. There's only one ball. I mean, there's a reason the Spurs went to Ginobili and said, man, you got to come off the bench. We can't have you and Tony and Tim. It just does. It's only one ball.
And we just discussed how much Russ likes to pass. So then there's a little bit of that, and likes to take all the last shots by himself. I mean, there's talk about, like, hey, this could be that group. When you look back at them, they are slowly becoming, is that the best team that was together that didn't end up winning a title? I mean, there's some competition for that. Of course, you've got the Stockton and Malone Utah teams, you've got Penny and Shaq, but where would you put them in that group?
They're going to be near one. Yeah, they're at or near the top. I mean, I think they won, if you exclude the year, there was a lockout year and then the year Durant got hurt, they won like 55 games 7 years in a row or something like that, or were on pace to do it. I think it was like them in the 90s Sonics were like the only teams to win that many in a row, that many games and not win the title. I'm partial to the Webber era Kings.
Yeah. Vlade and all that. I mean, look, if that's true, if they are at or near the top, that's a hell of a regret then.
Yeah.
I mean,
it should be a hell of a regret.